So I don't want you to be worried about this slide. And I was telling Mike, one of the things I'm going to do afterwards, probably the next few days, is on the forum, I'll put a forum post up and I'll put some of these kind of visuals in there so you can look at them at your leisure if you're interested. But basically what I wanted to show you here is the basics of breeding for egg color. So if I take a blue, if you look at the top left hand there, if I take a blue egg layer and I cross it to a light brown or tinted egg layer, then I will get a bird that lays a light green egg. So it's a blue shell and it's putting a little bit of light brown over it and it gets me a light green. The term for that in genetic terms is an F1 generation. That's not important for you to remember, but you will hear that conversation go on within egg breeding communities. So just in case, a little heads up, that's what that means. And another version might be there on the top right, where we take a blue egg layer and we cross it to a dark brown egg layer. And we get what's called an olive egger in the trade, or an olive, because it's a darker, more brown pigment, a darker color. We can then take that olive egger and breed it back and do what's called a back cross to a dark brown, like possibly to its parent or another one of the breed it originally was in its original cross. And you can get an even darker egg. And this is where you start to get some of those amazingly dark olive eggs that you can see on the internet or on some of the poultry sites. The challenge here is that when you do that back cross, you don't get all green, you get 50% brown. So it takes a lot of space, a lot of patience to work on some of these darker egg colors. One cross that is an easy one to make and is more predictable is the third line down, where we take an olive egger and we cross it back to a blue egg laying bird, and we can get some really interesting and lovely shades of blue or blue-green that are kind of like teal. And in the trade, you'll notice these being sold as teal eggers, or azure eggers is one very popular one that's out there. And we know that we are going to get this something in the blue-green because, again, the blue parent has a dominant gene, so we know that there's going to be blue in that mix. That's probably the easiest combination after the initial combinations there in the top row. I would suggest that people, particularly for the first time, stay with that combination up on the top where you're breeding a blue egg layer with a brown to get a green. You can look at the bottom line and think, I might want to do that, but really, if you take your olive egger and you breed it to your olive egger, you're likely to get all sorts of different colors. It's a really challenge at that point. So sticking with some of those simple crosses might be best at first. So that's just to give you a taste of eggs. I know it's just hopefully enough to whet your curiosity, and you can look into it a little more. We can discuss it on the forum as well. So let's go on and talk about sex links on the next slide.